Hey everyone, KYT here. It's been a while and I've definitely missed you guys, but I've been hard at work creating these different retirement calculators to help people make better decisions. And I'm going to talk about them in the next set of videos. But for this one, let's just start off with something easy and talk briefly about the 4% rule. To me, I was really motivated to talk about the 4% rule because it's a concept that's thrown around a lot because it's easy. It's like quick. It sounds like an easy formula. But the trouble is, a lot of people that just hear about it, they try to reverse calculate what it implies and how much they need to be able to retire. And they get to a number and they feel discouraged. Like they calculate it to be $2 million and they're like, oh no, that can't be possible. And then often the reaction might be to reject it as if it's some prescription from the big banks or people that have credentials telling them what to do and that it's not for the average person. It's not a strategy. And a lot of that is largely due to not fully understanding where the 4% rule comes from and, again, whether or not you can apply it to your specific situation. The 4% rule was first articulated in this article, in this 1994 article by William P. Bengen. Look at that hair. It takes me back to the 90s for sure. What William did essentially is stress test different types of portfolio using historical US returns to figure out how much money can retirees spend without worrying about running out of money. And according to Wiki here, Bengen would later call this rate the safe max rate for the maximum safe historical withdrawal rate. I have to point out that the period that he was looking at, the Great Depression happened and World War II happened. So basically, to be able to take this safe withdrawal rate to apply it specifically to your situation would be to assume that your future total returns sort of have the same level of not only returns, same type of volatility, and you're talking about, as he would say, safe max. So even though it goes through a 30-year period where you might run into something like the World War II, like the Great Depression, and that would be, you would come up with something like 4%. So first point against a common reaction is that instead of thinking, oh, that means I need $2 million, no, it means you need $2 million if you want to be protected from all these possible scenarios that the US went through in that data sample. And that's only if you want to have a fixed withdrawal strategy. Let's just jump quickly to one of my calculator pages and talk about why the fixed withdrawal rate is so appealing or easy to think about. Because some people want to think about a standard of living that they want to have, let's say for the sake of this example, 40,000, and how much they need to withdraw over time to maintain that lifestyle or standard of living. So you would you would pick an amount that you would retire with, and then you would add an inflation adjusted amount. Over here, you can see year one is 40. And right now, for the sake of this example, I put inflation at 2.5, but of course, it's going to go in different directions and during different periods. And as we all know, inflation has been going crazy over the past several years. But let's assume 2.5%. And people like thinking about fixed withdrawal because you can just plan out in your head mentally how much you will take out over time. So just add 2.5% adjusted as if you're getting a 2.5% raise year to year. So this is why Bengen calls it safe max and why a lot of people say it's an overly conservative number is right here. I put $1 million and I withdraw 4%, assume 2.5 inflation rate and using 30 years of data, historical data, and seeing what would happen with different 30-year periods from 1971 to 2024. And you can see in some scenarios, I just ran 3 scenarios, you end up with a lot of money, like 5 million, 11 million, even maybe close to 14 million here. And that just goes to show why if you're trying to take the 4% rule and then reverse calculate how much you need, that is like an upper, like a ceiling type number. And it can be like, you can use it. That's what a lot of people say. Like some people in Blossom are like, I use it as a target to reach. Okay, that could be something like to reach for a vague target that you can adjust over time. But it shows here, if you have that number and you're withdrawing fixed for 4%, it is overly conservative. So one needs to know that they're not doomed if they can't hit that $2 million. And there's a lot of reasons to think why we might not be fixed withdrawing in the future. We probably don't need as much money as we think we need. It probably isn't a stable line of maintaining a standard of living. Like when we're getting much older, we probably require less money. And there are definitely government programs that kick in as well that make us require less income once we hit a certain age. And in future videos, I will be talking about dynamic spending strategies. But beyond the fact that it's a fixed rate, people that are looking to apply the 4% rule directly might have to look at, again, what type of portfolio Bengen was analyzing. If your portfolio is very different in terms of expected return and volatility, you cannot just apply the results that Bengen ultimately came to and then apply it to your portfolio to try to get a good answer. So does that mean I don't think the 4% rule is that useful? I think it depends what you're looking for. I think the fantasy is to be able to use a formula, an easy formula, plug and play, and find out some numbers that you can directly use for your life. And I think retirement is just going to be really complicated. And what it does do is allow for a starting point for you to look at how expected returns and volatility, how that affects your retirement over time. And you can look at this data set and see how sequence of returns risk plays a role. So there's a lot of things that you can learn, but it's not something when people are asking, are you going to apply the 4% rule? The answer is no, but there is something to be learned. And of course, one of the people that I respect the most in the financial world, Ben Felix, says the good news is that withdrawal rates are not that useful anyway. We don't use them in financial planning. But for those of you who want to understand the 4% rule by playing around with it with all the numbers, you can go to my website, carlyoungtom.com, and there's a retirement withdrawal calculator where you can plug in a bunch of values and use historical backtesting to come to a few conclusions or a few simulations to see what would happen. And for example, in this case, $1 million, 4%, and there's a 30-year success rate of 98.4%. And that's why, like, maybe you don't need 1 million or 2 million, because in a lot of these cases on the graph here, you can see you end up with a lot of money. And there's twice where it failed, and it failed in year 27 and 28. These periods include major events like the Great Depression and 1970s stagflation. So even though, again, I might not directly use a 4% rule, there's a lot of cool things that you might get out of it to be able to apply or increase your learning on certain specific concepts. So I'm going to end this video by revisiting my motivation for this retirement research, even though hopefully it's at least 25 years away from me. But I hear a lot of fear, a lot of mistrust in the advice of certified advisors, because how ridiculous is it if I need millions of dollars to retire comfortably? And I can understand, I can empathize with people that say, well, that's not for me. But now that I know, I've learned a lot more that everyone's just basing it off the 4% rule, a research that was done in 1994 and should be regarded as either a rule of thumb or a starting point to learn more about retirement. It is not a prescription. And as Ben Felix himself says, withdrawal rates are not that useful in financial planning. And here we have someone bringing up Ben Felix 2.7% rule for retirement video, but there is a difference between someone talking about a rule and actually prescribing and recommending. And as I've shown that quote from this specific video, he does not recommend a fixed withdrawal rate. But again, it can seem ridiculous if your takeaway is to take what you hear, the rule, the headline, the title, and be like, oh my God, 2.7, if I had a million, that's 27K per year. I couldn't possibly live off of that. This also happened in the comment section of my appearance on Better Call Paul's podcast, where someone said, well, you better save 2 million or more if you listen to him being Ben Felix. So again, you don't have to agree with everything Ben says. There's obviously a lot of heated debate he's caused in the cover call space. But when it comes to retirement, right, mistrusting him or mistrusting academia or certified advisors as a whole because you heard about this 4%, like, I hope these people can, let go of their fear or what they've heard and just really analyze what it's for. It's just a really old study that you can learn from, but retiring planning is just there's just so many variables you cannot possibly control for, and you just need to have a, I guess, basic idea. Like even me, I don't project that well. I mean, I don't project too much in the future is what I meant to say, because 25 years plus of returns, it could go sideways, it could go really well for me. Like the portfolio value that I will have, even with something that people consider very solid in XEQT, is a mystery to me in 25 years. Who the heck knows how much I'm going to have by the time I need to retire? And so I might I might narrow down the range as I get older and closer to that phase of my life. But this far out, it's like I'm just calculating things out of pure curiosity, but not really taking anything too serious at the moment. And I think with that, I'll see you in the next one.